Have you ever imagined what it would be like to live in a world where gravity was cut in half? Objects would fall more slowly, people could leap to incredible heights. But would this make life easier or far more dangerous? Today, we're diving into this intriguing hypothesis. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that the world around you has changed radically. You're still half asleep, feet on the floor, but suddenly you leap and find yourself on the ceiling. What's happening? It's as if you've suddenly acquired a superpower. Now, imagine this is possible because Earth's gravity has been cut in half. This, indeed, is a scenario that makes us think deeply. What would happen in a world where gravity was reduced to half its current intensity? We're not talking about science fiction or alternate universes. We're exploring a reality where this change could occur on our own planet. First and foremost, we need to understand what gravity is and its role in the universe. Gravity is an invisible force that pulls objects toward each other. In Earth's case, it keeps us grounded, influences ocean currents, the moon's orbit, and even the planet's rotation. In fact, it's this force that ensures our existence as living beings. Without it, we couldn't maintain our position or perform the simplest actions, like walking, running, or even breathing. Did you know that gravity isn't the same everywhere? On Mars, for example, gravity is only 38% of Earth's gravity. This means you could jump impressively if you were there. Now, imagine cutting Earth's gravity in half. How would this affect everything around us? The immediate impact would be felt in our own bodies. With reduced gravity, our muscles and bones would lose much of the strength and resistance they have today. Scientists already know that when an astronaut spends time in space, where gravity is very low, their bones and muscles weaken quickly. The same would happen on Earth if gravity were reduced. You wouldn't be able to carry a suitcase the same way. Your posture would be compromised, and daily activities requiring strength, like lifting objects or even walking, would change. This is because our bodies have evolved to work against gravity as we know it. If it were cut in half, we have to relearn how to live. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to jump higher than ever? That would be one of the first consequences of a world with reduced gravity. Think of a basketball game where players could make incredible leaps, easily scoring baskets. Or perhaps the feeling of floating with a simple jump to reach something. While it might seem fun at first, the lightness would also bring a sense of loss of control. Every movement would have to be coordinated completely differently. You might even run faster, but you'd also run the risk of losing balance or falling more often since your feet wouldn't have the same grip on the ground. Moreover, transportation would change profoundly. Today, cars rely on friction to move on roads, maintaining traction with asphalt. If gravity were reduced, the wheel's grip on the ground would significantly decrease. This would mean cars, bicycles, trains, and other vehicles would need to be completely redesigned for safety and efficiency. In the air, the impact would be even more visible. Airplanes would need to adjust their aerodynamics and power to deal with the lack of gravity since, with reduced gravity, they could fly higher and faster. This would require a complete re-engineering of air transportation systems. Now, what about children playing in the park? In a world with half gravity, they could jump several meters into the air, jumping higher than any comic book superhero. However, imagine the falls that could happen, as the lightness could become a risk. Without the gravity we have, impacts would be much more dangerous, and the simple act of falling could result in serious injuries. So, while they might enjoy a world of fantastic jumps, the lack of gravity would also increase accidents. And nature, how would it be affected? Trees would grow taller since the gravitational forces limiting them would be reduced. Have you ever thought about the possibility of seeing trees over 200 meters tall? That could happen in a world with half gravity. On the other hand, many smaller plants that rely on gravity to absorb nutrients and water from the soil would struggle to survive. The natural balance of Earth's flora and fauna would be completely altered. Larger animals like elephants and giraffes would likely struggle to adapt to this new environment. Their significant weight could affect their mobility, and their feeding processes would also change. Birds, on the other hand, would benefit from this change. They could fly more easily, which would affect the ecosystem. Animals living on land, like humans, would have to adapt quickly or risk not surviving. Another fundamental aspect would be the impact on the water cycle and rivers. Without gravity in its current state, water wouldn't flow as we know it. Rivers, lakes, and oceans would face drastic changes in their levels. This would directly affect the water supply for millions of people. Gravity is one of the forces responsible for regulating water movement through rivers and oceans. If this were interrupted, we could face droughts and floods at levels we never imagined. The impact on aquatic ecosystems would be devastating. Now, imagine the effect on a global scale. Earth's atmosphere, which relies on gravity to keep air in place, would begin to slowly dissipate into space. This would mean that, over time, oxygen and other gases essential for life would become increasingly scarce. Moreover, the gravitational interaction between Earth and the Moon, which causes tides, would be altered. This would result in extremely high or low tides, with frequent tsunamis and floods around the planet. On a cosmic level, Earth's orbit around the Sun would be affected. This could, over a very long period, cause Earth to gradually drift away from the Sun. What would that cause? A permanent ice age and temperatures so low that life, as we know it, would become unsustainable. And the psychological impact of living in a world with less gravity. Although it might seem fun at first glance, constantly living in a state of reduced gravity would profoundly affect the human psyche. Scientific research suggests that even small changes in gravity can cause devastating psychological effects. This would include dizziness, difficulty concentrating, and, in some cases, even psychosis. The sensation of floating uncontrollably could lead people to lose their sense of orientation and emotional stability. Ultimately, all of this teaches us something crucial. Gravity is much more than just an invisible force. It is the pillar that sustains all aspects of life on Earth. If it were altered, the entire planet would undergo a revolution of such magnitude that, within months, everything we know would disintegrate. Gravity not only keeps us grounded, but also ensures that the cycle of life, the flow of water, and environmental balance occur harmoniously. Now, imagine yourself, a human being adapted to this new reality, trying to adjust to a completely different world. What challenges would you face? How would you adapt to a world without gravity or with reduced gravity? What would you do to survive on a planet that would gradually become more uninhabitable? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos exploring mysteries like this one. See you in the next video.